at Corruption HQ, which is the office of Attorney General Ken Paxton, where behind closed doors, a sweetheart deal was given to a well-connected lawyer who abused an 8-year-old boy. We don't need any more pedophile protectors in our government. I filed a public information request to release the Hoffman files. Ken Paxton just rejected it. Adam Hoffman was a well-connected lawyer who abused an 8-year-old boy. He should be spending his life in prison. But instead, Ken Paxton gave him a sweetheart deal, letting him out of jail after just 29 days. He didn't even have to register as a sex offender in Texas. That's how good this Epstein-style sweetheart deal was. Ken Paxton should have to answer questions about this sweetheart deal. Journalists have called Ken Paxton. They've called his office. They've called his personal cell. They've found him on the street. He refuses to answer any questions on this sweetheart deal. And I think Texans deserve answers. And it's why we're going to keep fighting for transparency. It's why we're going to keep fighting to ensure that Texans get their questions answered about why a pedophile was let back onto our street after just 29 days in jail. And with that, happy to answer any questions. Yes?
Two questions come to my mind real quick. One, in Maine, you have a Democrat who quit his race over an accusation. Here you have a conviction and a Republican protecting someone who's been convicted. What does that tell you?
Well, I think most Texans, regardless of their political affiliations, are tired of seeing crimes against children covered up by powerful politicians. We saw this with the Epstein case, but we also saw how Democrats and independents and Republicans came together to demand answers on that issue. And I think we need to see the same thing here in Texas. We need to have folks standing up, regardless of their party, to demand justice for the victim and his family.
The other question is on national politics. The President of the United States has repeatedly claimed that Democrats are communists. I'd love for you to address that particular accusation.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of politics we have these days, where corny nicknames and cheap accusations are hurled at each other. I think Texans just want to know what you're going to do to bring down their costs, to get this economy back on track, and to ensure that they and their families can be successful. And that's what I'm focused on every day.
But you're not a communist.
That's right. Well, that's not the only thing they've been accusing me and calling me of. But I am trying to focus on how we make this economy work for regular people. And that doesn't look like communism to me. That looks like making this economy work for middle class and working class families.
Jessica?
Well, the family's already spoken out. The victim's mother called this a corrupt deal. And I think we should listen to the victim and their family. We should be standing up for victims across the state, across this country. And I think the best thing we can do for them right now is get answers to why the sweetheart deal was given to a pedophile, why he didn't have to register as a sex offender, why he's back on the street. That's what they need right now. And I'm going to keep fighting for Ken Paxton to release this information so that we can finally get those questions answered.
Alexa?
You haven't personally been in contact with the family. You haven't talked to them.
Our team has been in contact.
Alexa?
And with the release, the Hoffman files movement, what do you expect to find? Text, email,
I mean, what we're requesting is every internal memo, every email, every document, every text message concerning the Hoffman case. And if there's nothing to hide, then the Attorney General should feel comfortable releasing this information. But I think it's suspicious when we request this information and it's denied, especially on a case where so many Texans have legitimate concerns, legitimate questions. And it's something that we're seeing nationally. I mean, so many people are deeply disturbed by the Epstein case, rightfully so. And then to see it repeated here in Texas in our own backyard, I mean, it should be alarming to all Texans, regardless of our political party.
Aaron?
Hi, Aaron.
Kind of a day of question. Congressman made a comment yesterday saying that the primary race was a racist race. She wasn't targeting that towards you, but she also said that she wants to help your campaign by helping down ballot candidates, specifically black candidates. So what are your thoughts on her help in that way? And how do you plan to, reach out and support the black?
Yeah, Congresswoman Crockett and I are on the same page. We are united in defeating the most corrupt politician in America. We are locked in to beating Ken Paxton in November, and that's what all of our focus in the Democratic Party should be on. And we've got to be building a big tent that doesn't just include Democrats, but includes independents and Republicans. And if we do that, I think we're going to be successful in November.
What about specifically for black voters?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been focused on is bringing our coalition together. That includes black, brown, white Texans. It includes rural folks, urban folks, suburban folks. It includes Republicans, independents, Democrats. We have to build a big tent. That includes black Texans. And so we have been laser-like focused on earning their trust, earning their respect, and ultimately earning their votes.
Dylan? Something about this case that should cross some exceptions to the law that says that these records don't be released whenever there's a minor child involved?
Well, I think there are ways to ensure accountability and protect privacy at the same time. And we've seen that in other cases. And so I think the Attorney General and his office are hiding behind the concern about privacy, so they don't have to give us any information. That is a false choice. You can absolutely do both, and that's what we're calling for in this case.
Dylan?
James, did the Attorney General's office state a legal reason why they rejected your claim? And you say you want to continue fighting. What's that look like? Is that you're going to take legal action to release these files?
Well, again, I think the Attorney General and his office are making excuses for why they can't give this information to the public, and I'm going to keep pushing them to do it. I'm going to keep raising this issue until they give us the answers that we deserve. Because again, this isn't a partisan issue. All Texans have legitimate questions about this case, and they deserve to get answers. We're going to keep fighting to get that transparency.
John?
Like I said, we're going to pursue every avenue we can to get these answers.
John?
I want to build a little bit on Scott's question. Can you just talk about the situation that young victim is in?
Say that last part again?
The situation the young victim
Yeah.
is in was not wish to go through that topic. And you said there are ways around that through laws that were
Yeah, guys, the victim is not the issue here, right? The victim has been through enough. Adam Hoffman admitted to abusing this 8-year-old boy and then was let out of jail after only 29 days. Those are the only facts that should be of concern here. We should not be dragging the victim back through this. We should not be harassing the victim's family. They have been through enough. We have all the information we need, both us as Texans, you as reporters. We know that he admitted to abusing this child and then was given only 29 days in jail. In fact, Ken Paxton wanted to give him 1 day in jail, and it was the judge who gave him 29 days. So that on its face should be enough to get answers to our questions. And so we should protect the victim's privacy. We should leave the victim out of this and his family. And we should be focused on the facts in front of us, which is that we have a well-connected lawyer who admitted to this crime, and then he was let out of jail after 29 days. I want to know why that is, and I think most Texans want to know why that is too.
Ellie?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more along specifics. What are the reasonable actions? What are specific steps you and Aaron are taking to demand the release of these files?
Well, our first step was to request this public information, and Ken Paxton just got back to us with a denial. And so our first plan of action has been rejected by the Attorney General. And I think raising that for Texans so that they know that the Attorney General is hiding this information, that's key. My hope is that we can build enough bipartisan support that can pressure the Attorney General to do the right thing and release all information about this case so we can get our questions answered. And then we can talk about some other issues that are of importance to Texans.
Thanks so much, everyone. That's all
Thank
we have
y'all.
for today.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much.
And good work on the battery.